Hello, folks. In the previous class, we discussed some subtopics pertaining to the lesson Nationalism in India. We knew the meaning of nationalism and we discussed a subtopic called the First World War, the economic and political situation during the First World War, the idea of satyagraha, and we also discussed about the meaning of satyagraha, the three movements of satyagraha organized by Gandhiji. We discussed about the Rowlatt Act, the Rowlatt Satyagraha, Jallianwala Bagh, and how Gandhiji supported the Khilafat issues to unite the Hindus and the Muslims, how the non cooperation movement was adopted, the different strands within the non cooperation movement. We discussed how this movement spread in towns, and then we discussed the non cooperation movement by the peasants in Awadh. We also discussed the non cooperation movement by the tribals in Guddam Hills. We discussed about the plight of the plantation workers in Assam. Then, the very last subtopic in the previous class was how the non cooperation movement was called off. Now, we are going to start with a new subtopic from this chapter. It is the continuation of the lesson. The subtopic is towards civil disobedience movement. In February 1922, the non cooperation movement was called off because it was becoming very violent. Some of the leaders wanted to participate in elections to the provincial councils. The Swaraj Party was formed by C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. In the late 1920s, Indian politics was shaped because of two factors. The first effect was the worldwide economic depression, and the second was the falling agricultural prices. Now let's move on to the next subtopic, that is Simon Commission. The new Tory government was started in Britain. It constituted a statutory commission under Sir John Simon. The statutory commission took up the functioning of the constitutional system in India. In 1929, the Simon Commission arrived in India and it was angrily greeted by the slogan, "Go back, Simon." In December 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, the Lahore Congress formalized the demand for Purna Swaraj. Purna Swaraj means full independence for India. Actually, it was declared that 26th January 1930 would be celebrated as Independence Day. Mahatma Gandhi started the Salt March along with 78 trusted volunteers. Let's see how he started the Salt March. On 31st January 1930, Mahatma Gandhi wrote a letter to Viceroy Irwin stating his 11 demands. One of the most stirring demand was to abolish the salt law or the salt tax. He wanted to abolish the salt tax because salt is something that is consumed by the rich and the poor. It is a weapon for fighting for independence. The demands needed to be fulfilled by 11th March, or else the Congress will commence the civil disobedience campaign. So, when Lord Irwin was not willing to negotiate, Mahatma Gandhi started his famous Dandi March or Salt March along with 78 trusted volunteers. The march was 240 miles from Gandhi's ashram in Sabarmati to Gujarat's coastal area of Dandi. On 6th April, he reached Dandi and he ceremonically violated the law manufacturing salt by boiling water. This was known as civil disobedience movement. The civil disobedience movement spread across the world and the salt law was broken in different parts of the country. See, these are the features of the civil disobedience movement. Foreign good was boycotted. Peasants refused to pay revenue. In many places, forest law was violated. In April 1930, Abdul Ghaffar Khan, he was a devout disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, he was arrested. Soon after, Mahatma Gandhi was also arrested. About a month later, which led to attack in all structures that symbolized British rule. By seeing a lot of violence and horrific situation, Mahatma Gandhi decided to call off the movement. He decided to have a pact. Pact is an agreement with Viceroy Irvine on 5th March 1931. Gandhi-Irvine Pact. Gandhi consented to participate in Round Table Conference in London. When the conference broke down, Mahatma Gandhi returned to India disappointed, and he once again in fact relaunched the civil disobedience movement for a year. But it continued, but in 1934 it lost its momentum. So I'll quickly recapitulate what we have discussed. Since the non cooperation movement was becoming violent, Mahatma Gandhi called off the non cooperation movement. Many leaders wanted to take part in provincial councils. The Swaraj Party was formed within the Swaraj Party was formed within the Congress Party. It was founded by C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. Okay, and Indian politics was shaped because of worldwide economic repression and the falling agricultural prices. The Simon Commission was started under the leadership of Sir John Simon. This statutory commission took up the responsibility of dealing with the constitutional system of India. When this commission arrived in 1928, it was greeted with hate slogans like "Go back, Simon." So, Jawaharlal Nehru in December 1929 at a Congress session in Lahore, he said that 26 January 1930 will be celebrated as Independence Day. He demanded for Purna Swaraj, which means full independence for India. The Salt March. When Mahatma Gandhi wrote a letter to Lord Viceroy and he stated his 11 demands, he did not get any reply by 11th March. So he started the Salt March along with 78 trusted volunteers. The march was for 240 miles, so every day they used to walk 10 miles. They walked all the way from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. It is a coastal area in Gujarat itself. So on 6th April 1930, he violated the salt law. This movement spread across the whole country. The salt law was broken. So when the salt law was broken, foreign goods was boycotted. Peasants refused to pay chowkidari tax and revenue. The forest law was violated. Abdul Ghaffar Khan, a disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, was arrested. There was complete violence. Mahatma Gandhi decided to call off this movement. He decided to enter into a pact with Lord Irwin. Okay, he went to London to attend a conference, but he came to India disappointed, so he restarted the civil disobedience movement. But unfortunately, by 1934, it lost its momentum. There were many participants of the civil disobedience movement. There were rich peasants, poor peasants, business class, women, the patidars of Gujarat and the Jats of Uttar Pradesh were enthusiastic to participate in civil disobedience movement. They were really hurt when the movement was called off. And when the movement was restarted in 1932, they did not want to participate. But the poor peasants joined this movement, and it was later on led by socialist and communist. And the business class, the Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress, the Federation of Indian Chamber of Congress and Industries was formed. The business class participated in the civil disobedience movement. The industrialists attacked the colonial control over the Indian economy and supported the civil disobedience movement when it was first launched. Some industrial workers participated in civil disobedience movement. Railway workers and dock workers were on strike. And women also took part in civil disobedience movement, but their participation was not much. They were passive participants. Uh, Many women who took part in the civil disobedience movement were from high families. They picketed liquor shops, they burned foreign goods. Some of the women went to jail, and finally, Mahatma Gandhi said they began to see service as a nation a sacred duty of the women. Okay, they had an important role but did not necessarily mean any radical change in the way position of women was visualized. Later on, Gandhiji said the duty of women was to look after homes and become good mothers and good wives. So, Congress was not willing to allow women to hold high positions of authority within the organization. Many women took part in civil disobedience movement. They picketed liquor shops. They burned foreign goods. Some of them were from high families. They were from rich household. And Mahatma Gandhi said the service to the nation is the sacred duty of women. Congress did not support women's participation. Mahatma Gandhi finally said it is the duty of women to stay at home and become good wives and mothers. So, the participants of the civil disobedience movement were the Patidars of Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh. Initially, they were willing to take part in civil disobedience movement, but when this movement was called off, they were not so much interested. And the poor peasants took part, the business class took part. They were really angry with the way how the Indian economy was dominated by the colonial rule. Okay, then we discussed the participation of women. The industrial workers took place, the railway workers and the dock workers. Okay, limits of the movement. The people who did not take part in the civil disobedience movement to that extent were the Dalits and the Muslims. The Muslims and the Dalits did not play a key role in the civil disobedience movement. Dalits were called as untouchables. Okay, Gandhiji used to call them Harijans. It means children of God. Okay, they said we should have the support of Dalits. Gandhiji claimed that we should have the support of Dalits. Without them, we cannot achieve Swaraj. He organized Satyagraha for the untouchables. The Dalits were known as untouchables on a political solution to the problem of the community. But they people who were known as Dalits, okay, demanded reserved seats in educational institutions and separate electorate. Gandhiji supported the Dalits. He called them Harijans, children of God. He vehemently supported them. They demanded for separate electorate and separate seats in educational institutions. B.R. Ambedkar organized the Dalits into depressed classes, and he had a clash with Mahatma Gandhi at the second roundtable conference with regard to separate electorates. That means Dalits claimed that they wanted separate seats in the parliament, they wanted separate elections. So Mahatma Gandhi said this will disunite them. The Pune Pact gave depressed classes reserved seats in provincial and central legislative council. After the decline of non-cooperation civil disobedience movement, Muslims also felt alienated from the Congress. The participation of Muslims was really less because they were separated from the Congress after the calling of non-cooperation Khilafat movement. Because of that, there was no unity between the Hindus and Muslims. The relationship between the Hindus and Muslims declined. Muhammad Ali Jinnah wanted a separate electorate for Muslims, and he wanted separate seats in Central Assembly and representation in proportion to the population. in the Muslim dominated provinces. Okay, he was hoping to resolve this issue at all parties conference, but it disappeared. M.R. Jayankar of Hindu Mahasabha strongly opposed the efforts of Muslims. So Muslims and Dalits, they were not given much importance to take part in the civil disobedience movement. The Dalits demanded for separate electorate. Gandhiji had a clash with B.R. Ambedkar. B.R. Ambedkar organized the Dalits into depressed class association. The Pune Pact was signed. So finally, reserved seats were given to them in provincial and central legislative council. And Muhammad Ali Jinnah demanded for separate electorate if Muslims were assured reserved seats in Central Assembly. But this idea was dropped down, and this idea did not work out because M.R. Jayankar from Hindu Mahasabha strongly opposed this idea. The sense of collective belonging. Nationalism spread when people began to believe they are the people of the same nation. See, you can have nationalism even if you have common sense of identity. History and fiction, folklore, songs, popular prints and symbols played a major role in the making of nationalism. Finally, in 20th century, the identity of India was known as by the image of Bharat Mata. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay created the image of Bharat Mata in 1870s. He wrote Vande Mataram as hymn to the motherland. Rabindranath Tagore painted the famous image of Bharat Mata. He portrayed as an aesthetic figure. She is calm, composed, divine, spiritual. In the late 19th century India, nationalists began recording folk tales sung by bards, and they toured villages to gather folk songs and legends. During the Swadeshi movement, okay, there was a new tricolor of Bengal. The colors were red, green, and yellow. It was designed. It had 8 lotuses representing 8 provinces of British India, and also a crescent moon represented Hindus and Muslims. Then by 1921, Gandhiji designed his own Swaraj flag. It also had tricolor, red, green, white. It had spinning wheel in the center representing the ideal of self-help. Thank you. So I'll recapitulate the points. Mahatma Gandhi called off the non cooperation movement because it became violent. People wanted to organize Swaraj Party within the Congress. C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru started the Swaraj Party in Congress, and the Indian politics was shaped by the economic depression worldwide and the falling agricultural prices. And the Simon Commission was started under the leadership of Sir John Simon. The Statutory Commission will take care of the constitutional system in India. When it arrived in India in 1929, people began to shout slogans like "Go back, Simon." So, in December 1929, in the Lahore Congress, Jawaharlal Nehru declared 26 January 1930 as Independence Day, and he demanded for Purna Swaraj. Mahatma Gandhi wrote a letter to Lord Viceroy on 31st January 1930. The letter had 11 demands. Mahatma Gandhi wanted to abolish the salt law because salt is something which everybody consumes, whether you're rich or poor. When these demands were turned down by Lord Irwin, he started his famous salt march from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. He ceremonically violated the salt march on 6th April 1930. Just bear in mind, he was accompanied by 78 volunteers. They walked 240 miles in 24 days, so every day they used to walk 10 miles. The movement spread everywhere. The salt law was broken. Peasants refused to pay revenue. People entered forest. And Abdul Ghaffar was arrested on April 1930. He was a disciple of Mahatma Gandhi. There was violence everywhere. Mahatma Gandhi was arrested. Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement. He decided to enter into a pact with Lord Irwin. He went to London to attend a conference, but he came to India disappointed. And then he relaunched the non cooperation movement in 1934. The participants of the non cooperation movement were rich peasants like uh, Patidars of Gujarat, Jats of Uttar Pradesh, poor peasants, women, and business class, industrial workers, and those who did not participate in the civil disobedience movement that much were Dalits and Muslims. The Dalits wanted separate electorate. B.R. Ambedkar had a clash with Mahatma Gandhi, and finally they were given reserved seats in central and provincial assembly. The Dalits were called as Harijans, children of God. Even Muslims, okay, after the calling off of the non-cooperation Khilafat movement, the Muslims alienated from Congress. The relationship between Muslims and Hindus worsened. Muhammad Ali Jinnah wanted separate electorate if Muslims assured reserved seats in the Central Assembly. But this idea was not appreciated, and M.R. Jayankar of Hindu Mahasabha opposed this idea. The sense of collective belongingness. You can have nationalism only if you have a common sense of identity. It is possible by history, fiction, folklore, songs, print, symbols. Mahatma Gandhi created the image of Bharat Mata. Bankim Chandra Chatterjee created the image of Bharat Mata. He wrote Vande Matram. Rabindranath painted the image of Bharat Mata, the Swadeshi, and there were many folk tales and folk songs, legends. Swadeshi movement in Bengal. During the Swadeshi movement in Bengal, a tricolor flag was designed, red, green, and yellow. It had eight lotuses, eight provinces. It represented eight provinces of British India, a crescent moon representing Hindus and Muslims. And by 1921, Mahatma Gandhi designed Swaraj flag with tricolor red, green, white, and a spinning wheel to show this symbol of ideal of self help. Thank you.